To another video. My name is Ola. In today's video, we're going to talk all about an intense life reset, no matter the time of year. Let's get into it. Now, before I get started, I do want to express 3 specific points. 1, these are some things that have helped me throughout my journey in terms of resetting my life and making some changes and upgrading my life. Number 2, this would be something like this type of reset can happen any time of the year. It doesn't have to be at the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, any of that. It can happen on a random Tuesday in April, okay? So don't feel like it has to be something that takes place at a specific time of year. This happens when you make the decision for it to happen. And then number 3 is this doesn't have to be a dramatic event. The actual reset happened once I made the decision. I decided that I wanted certain things to change. And after that, I let go. I cut off any other options to remain in the comfort zone. So the first thing that I want to discuss is the mindset piece to all of this. This is going to be the largest piece of your puzzle. The first piece is deciding that you want change to happen. For me, it happened because of a number of things. I was unhappy in my job. I was bored with life. I was bored with the day-to-day. And then I was used to experiencing some type of huge life event or huge life change every few years now because of being connected to the military. And now that my husband's retired, like I'm itching for a change. We both are, honestly, itching for a change because we're so used to picking up our lives and moving to another area, whether it's another state or another country. We've done both. We've been in our current location probably over 6 years now. And so that itch is really itching. Because at this point, I can't really change where we are location-wise. I can change how I'm interacting in my day-to-day. I can change different, like my lifestyle. That's what we're going to focus on. So the first thing is mindset, making that decision, and then also identifying what needs to change. This is probably this for me. And the best way that I can explain to do this is to journal your thoughts. Figure out what are some things that you don't like, what that you do like. What are things that you're doing that you enjoy? What are things that you're doing that you don't enjoy? What are some things that stand out that you know you need to change? What are some habits that you know you need to change? Like, identify your ideal life. What's your ideal lifestyle? What are you doing? Where do you live? Where are you going from a day to day? What are you doing professionally? What are you doing socially? Through doing the journaling exercise, I was able to kind of pinpoint certain things that I can like integrate into my day-to-day now. And then also the things that I definitely needed to change and wanted to change. The next thing is identifying your stressors and also your procrastination triggers. Now, my biggest stressor was perfectionism. I would procrastinate because I didn't feel or I didn't think I had the perfect environment or the perfect tools or resources or had the perfect script or skill set in order to take action. That's what stopped me from doing a lot of things. That's what caused me to overthink a lot of things. It's like, I can't do this because I don't have the perfect camera, or I can't do this because the perfect setup, or I don't have the perfect wardrobe, so I can't present myself a certain way. You work with what you have. And so that's going to be your first thing, is identifying some of your stressors, identifying the procrastination triggers. For me, in terms of stressors, it was if I didn't have clarity. If I wasn't clear on what the end goal was, then it was to take action. Like, where is this going? Or I would take action, but I'd still be incredibly frustrated because I didn't know what was happening. I didn't understand what the next step was. And I didn't have all the data. And now I'm okay with not knowing everything and not having all the data, but I'm definitely going to ask the question, what's the point? Because I don't like my time, my energy, or any other resource wasted. So I'm very clear about that. And that is something that I had to get clear on. And I did that through journaling. So the next thing that I did was complete a time audit. A time audit is a simple way to record your actions for a predetermined amount of time. I did it for a week and I did it every single day of the week. I would record what I was doing every 30 minutes, whether I was at home, I was at the job, or like out and about. I was recording it. This helped me make time tangible and see how I was spending my time as it was then, before I made any changes. This also helped me identify some habits that I had or habits that I didn't have. So the ones that I wanted to incorporate, I found times where I can slide them in. Like, it took away the excuse of I don't have enough time, because I actually had the time. I just was using it for something else that was wasting the time. The next thing I would say for the time audit is it allows you to look at what you're doing and what changes you need to make, and then what do you need in order to make those changes. If you don't already have the habit of journaling, go ahead and grab you a nice notebook. Make it something pretty that you're going to be excited to get into. For me, this is my journal. She's adorable. She's dot grid. She's my favorite, my favorite type of paper. If you're a stationery girl, create an experience out of what they call it, romanticizing. If you need to romanticize it in order to get you excited about it, romanticize it, okay? So get you a nice journal, get you a nice pen, and create an environment, create a space for you to actually want to come into. For me, it's this corner right here. You'll actually, let me scoot over here. There we go. For me, it's this corner back here. This is my quiet time space. So if I'm journaling, I'm either journaling in my desk right here, or I'm journaling in my corner. So the next thing I did after completing the time audit and after journaling and making the decision that, listen, it's time for a change, we are going to change, was resetting my environment. So I came into my home office, cleaned it up, decluttered everything, even in the closet. And then also in my living spaces at home, cleaned, decluttered, took out clothes that I was no longer wearing, gave those away, threw away all like the trash and extra papers that I no longer needed, organized things, organized my closet, organized office space, workspace. Once I was able to reset my environments, then I was able to think more clearly and come up with a game plan. Let's go into creating a game plan. For me, I always start with creating a vision first. That's going to help me identify what areas I need to focus on in order to get to the vision. So with vision, I reflected on how far I've come and where do I want to go moving forward. Again, I feel stuck in this season, and I felt like I needed to make some change because I'm so used to making those changes and I just didn't like my day-to-day. So I created pretty much like an ideal life. Like ideally, what would I like my day-to-day to seem like or to feel like for now and then 5 years from now? So I wanted to do something that I can create or experience an immediate change to kind of fulfill that immediate gratification. But then also, how can I take that 10 steps forward and figure out how I can do something bigger, more impactful 5 years from now? So I created that vision. And again, I use my journal to do all of this. So you want to make sure that you're writing it down. So I wrote down what I wanted. And then my husband and I decided to go to an event, and we ended up going to Florida. Now, while being in Florida, I was able to really find kind of like my mojo, find that zest, that zest for life. I was able to find that zest for life because, to be honest, being home and being in the day-to-day, the furthest that I was able to think of was what I was doing the next week or maybe even the next month. But to think of something that was grander beyond all of that, it was really difficult for me. And so getting out of my normal surroundings and getting next to some water, it really helped me think beyond the next week. It helped me start using my imagination for things, and it was a good reset, just a good breath of fresh air. Once we completed that trip and we came back, I was super excited. I was like, okay, I know what I'm going for. I know what my goals are. So let me go ahead and get into it. Now, mind you, actually, before we decided to go to Florida, I had already started a fitness challenge. I started 75 Hard. It's an intense body reset, but that's on purpose. I mean, it's not just physical workout, but it's an all all comprehensive type of routine out 2 times a day. You're drinking a gallon of water. You're reading 10 pages of a development book. And so with that, I had to already make some adjustments to my day-to-day before we even got to Florida. Now, this is months before we got to Florida. We didn't go to Florida until May. I started the 75 Hard Challenge in March. So in between that time, I'd already kind of figured out a new routine. I decided moving forward, I don't want what I've been doing every single day to be my daily routine. The first routine I set up was like my morning routine, because that I needed to have down pack in order to complete the 75 Hard Challenge. So I woke up earlier. I started waking up at 4 a.m. so that I can get my quiet time, start routine. That's Bible study, that's journaling, that's prayer, doing that, and then also working out. And then, so for working out, and after that, I still have to have enough time to get ready for work, get son ready for school, do school drop off, and make it to work on time. So the mornings were early, and the morning started off. Like when the alarm went off, I had no choice but to get up. Beforehand, the alarm would get off, and I was hitting snooze 2 to 3 times because we were stuck. But we're unstuck, right? I use 75 Hard to kind of reset my health. I use journaling to reset my mental health, because journaling to kind of declutter some of the thoughts that were going on. I was able to actually get clarity on why am I thinking this way, or what problem, like how can I solve this problem? Journaling was the way that I was able to solve a lot of problems that, things just get stuck in your head. Journaling helps solve that. And then that quiet time helped reset my spiritual health, because I was able to get back into talking to God on a more consistent basis, growing closer to Christ, getting into the Word, reading my Bible, all of those things. Because those are that was number one priority, and I let go of that priority. So I needed to come back to that. So I was able to do that. The next area that I focused on is wealth. I knew that I had intentions of relaunching my business. I just didn't know when. So I set up that as one of my goals, is to relaunch my business. Also reviewing my budget to kind of, review finances and things like that. How was I spending my money? What changes did I want to make? All of these things, they're all connected. What money goals do I have? And then also figuring out, as far as the W-2 job, what were my intentions there? How can I change my perspective on work? Do I want to move further up in the organization? Am I good staying where I am? And do I want to make changes altogether? And if so, what are those changes? Those are all things I had to decide. And then what lessons can I learn from where I am right now in terms of the organization that I work with and the people that I work with. And then also, how can I leave it better than I found it? Because if my goal, which is my goal is to transition out of that, before that occurs, how can I make things better than when I found it? What impact can I bring? That also was a big mental switch for me, because with being frustrated with the job and frustrated with the work that I do, and not feeling like you're really creating impact, that it's real easy for you to check out when you're in that type of situation. So in this situation, I had to change my perspective and answering those questions in terms of how can I leave it better than I found it? What lessons can I learn from what I'm experiencing here? That helped me really change my perspective on, okay, I don't have to look at the negative side. I just not ignore it, but I can look at the positive side of it. Find the silver lining. It's there. You may have to do some digging, but it's there. The next thing that I worked on was relationships. I wanted to set a game plan for my relationships. Again, my relationship with Christ and growing closer to God. That's where, journaling came into play, praying more on a more consistent basis, as in all day, every day. Never stop praying. Reading the Word and intentionally studying the Word, not just reading it to have the day-to-day devotional and say you read the Word, or have the scripture on your home screen on your phone and say, yep, I was in my Word today. No, while I do still incorporate all those things, no, it's intentionally reading the Bible and studying it for what it says, to get an understanding and to get a revelation. So we're doing that. Also figuring out what things, where am I operating in error? What idols do I have in my life that I need to destroy? Those are all questions I ask myself, whether it's in work, in business, sleep, desires, all those things. Like, what do I need to cut off? And as soon as I identify it, it's cut off. Like, that's a decision. That's cut off, because what I want is greater than. Okay. So the next relationship was family relationships. So relationship with my husband and making intentional goals around that, and our marriage, and then also with my son when it comes to parenting, and then us as a family. All like those were priority relationships that I was focused on. And then I went to creating home systems, and actually our family worked together with creating home systems so that we're all on the same page, whether it's this creating calendars for the month, creating calendars for the week, and figuring out where is everybody going, what provisions do we need to make, what's going to be for dinner, having it already set in place so that by the time that day comes, there's no question. Everybody knows what's for dinner. Everybody knows what we're doing on this day. Everybody knows what we're doing for this weekend. So those are some things that help, like establishing that system took a lot of pressure off of me. It took away a lot of anxiety because I don't have to sit there and think, oh goodness, do I need to go to the store? I already did all that. Planning works. Setting goals works. Next up is evaluating my circle and then figuring out who do I want to be around? Who do I want to spend my time with in order to get to where I want to go? And that's something that I'm still working on and working through, and just like course correcting as the days go. I'm course correcting. Even to this moment, I am course correcting and just making adjustment, making tweaks, identifying where I spend most of my time and where I need not. And sometimes most of the time is with myself or me and Christ, because like, listen, that's my best friend. All right. Look, me and Holy Spirit, we in there. So that is for relationships. We've already setting and reviewing routines. So understood, like after I figured out what areas I wanted to focus on, then I knew what kind of routines I wanted to set so that everything would have its place. So for my morning routine, I knew I was starting off with journaling and writing down prayers. I also knew that I was going to be doing my Bible study, and I knew I was going to be working out. Those things, that was happening in the morning. If nothing else, those are the non-negotiables. Now I know I need to work out, or I need to wake up early enough to accomplish all of those things, right? And then also setting up evening routines. So in evening routines, I'm reading a book instead of watching TV. I think I probably watch outside of YouTube. YouTube doesn't count. I mean, I guess YouTube does count, but what I watch YouTube for, it's mainly personal development. So I won't count YouTube, but like Netflix and Hulu and Prime and all of that, I'm probably watching that on a weekend and not on a weekday. Yeah. But then also figuring out what things that I need to do for the business. If I'm going to be relaunching it, I need to have a whole strategy together, and then also carry out that strategy. So those are day actions. And then family time. What are we doing this weekend for family time? What are we doing this evening for family time? Are we watching a movie? Are we playing games? Are we having a discussion? All of those things. Also making time for reflection at the end of the day. Like, what went well today? What didn't work so well today? How did I set myself up for success? How did I set myself up here? What changes do I need to make? What am I grateful for? All of those things. And then planning for the next day. Listen, if you're looking for any kind of cheat code so that you are not overwhelmed the day of, plan the night before. Plan for your day the night before. Plan for your day the night before. It helps you wake up with a mission and an intention. And once you are clear about what your mission and intention is for that day, disruptions will come, but you'll be able to kind of walk right past them without any kind of, well, let me not say without any, but with very little tension. I know I'm working out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So when Tuesday night comes, I better know what I'm working on Wednesday. When Sunday night comes, I'm like, forget the job. I don't care about what's happening with the job. I need to know, what am I working out on Monday morning? So having that in play, and then also having weekend routines, because I work a 9 to 5 or 8 to 5. I know that I need to have a pretty good game plan as far as stuff I want to do or stuff that I need to do for the business during the weekends, because that's when I have the greatest amount of time to do it. And then also family fun. Like, are we doing anything? Are we not? Are we thinking about it? How can I, slide some content in there? I'm filming. So those are the things that I've incorporated into my life reset that have helped me become clearer about the things that I want. They have helped me building up a productivity routine. It has helped me kind of refresh like my vision and what it is that I want, allowed me to put things in their proper place. So God first, then me, and then the family, and then everything else. Okay. But one thing I will say is remember that finding your balance, or finding, I'd like to say harmony more than balance. So finding that harmony and that clarity in your day to day, and even overall life, it's going to take some time. So I started the reset in March, and I've been carrying out the moves ever since. And so it's not, again, the actual reset happens once you make the decision. After you make the decision, then it's just actions that you're carrying out on a consistent basis. And that's what I did. So I started in March, eating good. I got like a nice little healthy routine going on. I don't feel clouded or, all those. And even when those moments come, I have tools now. And if you're looking for tools that you may need or resources in order to help you, or even just like a guidebook, a blueprint to help you kind of carry out these same steps so that you can have your own life reset, I've created a resource just for you. You can find that located in the link below in the description box. These are the steps that I've taken. These are things that I still use. After completing this reset, I have been able to enjoy more time with my family, with my husband, my son, and even spend time with friends and stay in the moment. I no longer have to be so worried about what's happening or what I need to prepare for, because I've already done the work for it. And so I have a clear mind, I'm in the moment, and then the actions that I'm taking, they're leading me closer and closer to the goals that I want to accomplish. And I want the same for you. So again, if you're looking for a blueprint that'll give you some assistance, some additional help in your guide in order to reset your life, go ahead and click on the link below. And I will talk to you soon in the next video. Have a good one.